Welcome back. My fiance and I have been together for 2 years. We're 26, not living together yet. About a week ago, I came clean and told him that I had a one-night stand with an old crush. It happened last year, and I immediately felt guilty and have been filled with regret ever since. The guilt was eating me alive, and I felt like it was beginning to hurt our relationship, so I broke the news to him and sincerely apologized. I expected him to freak out and dump me, but the exact opposite happened. He literally said to me, "Well, that's shitty, but we all make mistakes." And that was it. He didn't get pissed off, upset, or anything. He didn't ask any questions either. It was like it never happened, and we haven't talked about it since. Over the past 3 months, he's gotten really close with a new female friend of his, and has been pulling away from me a bit. She's gorgeous, and I know he's attracted to her because she's exactly his type. Our sex life has taken a hit as well. We went from having sex nearly every day to once or twice a week. Couple that with his reaction to my one-night stand, and now I'm wondering if he's already checked out of our relationship. Am I being paranoid, or do I have a reason to worry? Edit. They've spent a lot of time together. They text a lot. She leaves cute, friendly messages on his wall, stuff like that. I'm 100% sure he's attracted to her. All the guys are. She's really pretty, obviously. I've only met her a couple of times, and both times she kind of ignored, avoided me, and stuck close to my fiance. Plus, she's single. And an open relationship would destroy me. I can't handle the thought of him being intimate with another girl. Our wedding is a couple years off. We're nowhere near getting married because we both wanted a long engagement. I'd like to talk to him about the possibility of him revenge cheating, but there's no solid proof that he's headed down that road. So I'm not sure how to bring it up. Update. My suspicions were correct. When my fiance got off work, I asked him to come over to my place so we could talk about our relationship and work through our issues. He acted surprised and was a little freaked out. I brought up my concerns regarding his female friend and asked him to be completely honest with me. I wanted to know if he had feelings for her, and he totally played stupid at first. I was crying because I told him I felt like he was slowly checking out of the relationship, and that's when he came clean. He admitted that they had feelings for each other. He said she wants him to end our relationship so they can be together. I asked him what he wanted to do about it, and he said, "I don't know, I'm confused." I asked him if he had slept with her, and he said, "Absolutely not, I wouldn't do that to you." But he admitted that she was extremely touchy-feely with him the other night at a friend's party. I wanted to know what he meant by that, and he said, "She basically felt me up." So after a long talk, he's agreed to go to a counselor with me to see if we can fix our problems. I've also asked him to cut off contact with his female friend so that we can focus on our relationship without outside distractions. He reluctantly agreed. Yes, I'm upset, but I feel like there's a good possibility that we can solve this and move forward. I just figured I owed you all an update since you helped me with my original post. Thank you. There are 2 probable outcomes in this situation. Firstly, he might develop resentment towards you for pressuring him to sever ties with his crush friend. Or secondly, he may choose to conceal all communication from you and carry on with his secretive behavior. Based on your earlier statement, it appears that he's been gradually disengaging from the relationship. And your infidelity served as the last straw. Unless both of you are willing to invest a substantial amount of time and effort into rebuilding your relationship, it's advisable to seriously contemplate ending the relationship. Comments. He did not reluctantly agree to see a counselor with you. He told you what he had to tell you to shut you up for a while and buy himself some time to think his options over. Honestly, I don't think counseling is the right choice here. You cheated. He obviously is more hurt by that than he's letting on and is into another girl, and doesn't really sound like he wants to reconcile with you. You two aren't married, and counseling isn't cheap. I think you need to let this one go. If you were so worried about your relationship issues, you would have fixed them before you cheated, not a year later. Your suspicions were correct. It's like you want to be vindicated and told what you did was okay, because he has feelings for another girl. Well, no shit he does. It sounds more like your issues need fixing, not his, and not any relationship issues. Remarkable how you've manipulated the situation from you cheating on your boyfriend to guilting him over an attraction to another girl and seeing a counselor for it. I think he's going to dump you for her. Hopefully, she doesn't cheat on him. Story 2. I don't even know where to begin, other than the obvious. I cheated on my boyfriend of 6 years. I, female, will be 26 in December, and he'll be 27 in January. My question is not whether or not to tell him. He knows, through means of his own finding out by looking through my iPad and going into my phone while asleep. Which, first question here, lack invasion of my privacy? Or justified because of what I've done? He has since gone through my phone and deleted Snapchat and dating apps while he said we're broken up, but then went through my phone again. Where I struggle and need advice is, do I stay or do I go? He has left things in my hands in terms of whether or not to try things again. I feel like any sane person in his shoes would leave and recognize that they deserve better, and that logistically, statistically, this will not work. I struggle with figuring out exactly why I cheated on him because, was it I was trying to self-sabotage the relationship and couldn't just tell him I didn't want to do this anymore? Or was I just trying to regain some control of some aspect of the relationship? Because I feel like the majority of our time together, the decisions have been based around his life. His school changes, potential career options, and his parents having a large financial control over him and us. However, there is a lot of backstory leading up to how we got to this point, but it's so much, I'd need to write an essay to explain everything. We've gone through a lot in our lives individually, before and after we met each other. But as a couple, we've also experienced a lot of change, trauma, and hardships in the last 2 years, as I'm sure many of you have with the pandemic. So, some backstory. My dad abandoned my brother, mother, and myself back in 2017, claiming he had had too much to drink one night at the office and was spending the night there. He never came back after that, leaving financial responsibility on my brother and I as our mom didn't work. In August 2018, I moved out of state, and out of the house for the first time. 5 hours away in reference to where we were before. With my boyfriend so he could go back to school for graduate pre-med things. This is the first time we move in together officially. October 2018, we find out my mom is diagnosed with mesothelioma, a rare and incurable cancer. December 2020, she passes away after fighting for 2 years. August 2021, we move back to where we were living before. 10 minutes away from where my mom's childhood home was, obviously brought up some memories and hard being back where she should be. October 2021, I re-download dating apps and cheat on him. Mid-October 2021, he finds out. As for our relationship issues, I was getting frustrated and a bit stressed that he graduated with his bachelor's in May 2017, and it's now the end of November 2021 and he has had no career moves whatsoever. Whether it be something as simple as working at Target or wherever, and not some fancy job that pays $80 to $100K a year, but at least something. And that he's always fallen back on, oh, I'll just do more school, because he doesn't know what he wants to do. Given I only have my associate's degree, finished in 2018, but I've been working my ass off while I was in school and ever since then working multiple jobs to be able to contribute to rent, groceries, the dog, my car payments, insurance, etc. While he has been fortunate, or privileged, or spoiled, to not have to worry about that because mom and dad take care of it all for him, I also felt as if he wasn't holding up his end of the partnership household tasks, while I was busting my butt working all day and then would have to come home to clean, cook, etc., while he had been studying and staying home with the dog. My other reservations lie in the fact that I'm not totally convinced this will work out. And I guess my biggest thing is that my brother and childhood neighbors, who are basically family as my family lives abroad in Europe and doesn't see me on a day-to-day basis, don't particularly like boyfriend, don't think he's the one for me. It had gotten to the point where he would feel awkward coming to birthdays, potlucks, random get-togethers. If you've read this far, I appreciate the time you've spent on this. I fully own what I've done and know that I'm in the wrong. Yet him giving me the choice of how things play out stresses me out. Because there were lots of things that led me to this point, and I'm unsure of what I want and what makes sense in this complicated and messy situation. Any advice on what to do or someone who's been in a similar situation? Comments. Let him go. He had to find out himself, and your post is mostly justification. Not a lot of respect or contrition can be found within. You ultimately had the choice to look at all this stuff you say is bad and make an informed adult choice ahead of time. Instead, you took the destructive and craven option. You didn't want to lose what you had as much as find out what you could have. The complaints come off as after-the-fact reasoning to soften this situation. Some part of him still loves the person that he thought couldn't do this to him. Despite you showing him who you are, he probably hopes that this person will find their way back. Seeing as you see little future here anyway, do him a solid and don't draw it out. At a glance, here are my observations. You don't seem to have compatible values, for example, work, chores, education, money, etc. Red flag. Trust seems to be lacking. Red flag. You two don't appear to have any clear plan or goals as a couple you're working towards. Red flag. You didn't say once how much you loved him and why you want to make it work. Red flag. He's not standing up for himself and refusing to tolerate infidelity. Makes me think this will be something to hold over you forever. Possible red flag. You cheated on him. The red flag. Just leave. Your relationship sounds as stagnant as pond scum.